Hey folks, Stephen here back with you for another rConfig tutorial video. So delighted, it's been a few weeks coming, perhaps overdue, but absolutely delighted to announce the release of V7.2. We've started theming our releases, and this one was really all about policy compliance. We've done a major overhaul of the policy compliance user experience more than the engine. I've always said the engine was very reliable and very solid, but the user experience needed some work. I will admit we didn't get every single feature we wanted in, so go ahead and look at the roadmap on rconfig.com. It's publicly available and it's in the dashboard for subscribers as well to see when some of the extra um, features such as auto remediation and one or two others are coming, but we really were very satisfied at the moment with the robustness of the reporting and the preciseness of the detail around policy compliance. Um, I want to just go through two things on this video. I want to go through the update process from V7.1 to V7.2 and one or two migrations you need to make, but I'm going to touch on a couple of the feature changes that have happened as a consequence uh, of the update. Now, I won't cover all of those in this video. I'll go through policy compliance in greater detail in another video, and I'll go through some of the other changes in greater detail in other videos, and everything will be documented. What I'm going to do is just kind of show you the before of one of the major changes that we've made and show you the afterwards. Okay, let's get into it. So before we get into the steps around the changes and how to just prepare, right after the upgrade to V7.2, I'm just going to show you the kind of before and then we'll get into the migration steps and the after in just a moment. So this is a standard pretty stock 7.1.0 installation. All I've really done on this is just seeded some data. I actually haven't even seeded data on this one. All I really wanted to show you is the kind of before of two key things. First of all, EOC definitions, which is being renamed to CIC definitions, which we'll come back to in a moment. Um, I've created a very simple EOC definition here, and if I just edit this one, you guys should be used to seeing this at this point. We did it in JSON. We're changing this substantially, and I will show you the afterwards in just a moment, but I want you to just keep this in mind. Similarly with policy definitions, um, I have a sample policy definition created here. If I click edit on this guy, we can see all this JSON code, which again is changing substantially in just a few moments. So let's just take a quick peek at this, and then I'm going to pause this, prepare V7.1, come back in a moment and show you what the upgrade path and the new code and new layout and new feel and everything, how all that looks. Okay. All right, so I've done the upgrade offline. You guys don't need to see that. You've done this a dozen times. So standard upgrade process from V7.1 to V7.2. So now I'm going to log in here and I'm going to show you a couple of really important changes. All right, we're logged into V7.2. How do I know it's V7.2? So I go to my help button and there I have V7.2.0. Okay. The first thing I want to show you is CIC definitions, previously known as EOC definitions. Um, I might do a separate video on this, at least it'll be documented heavily. The reasons for changing the name from EOC to CIC definitions. And when you open CIC definitions, it's actually mentioned here. The term CIC has been updated. Oh, need to change this, which, yeah, it's fine, I'll do it in a moment. Has been updated to CIC config integrity check to better reflect its functionality. So it's just a label change. It has the exact same functionality. Uh, an essential technical difference is how the definition file is laid out. If I look at the definition file here, it is fundamentally different. JSON is gone. It's a standard kind of textual format. It should be quite intuitive. I will do a separate video on this specifically as it relates to policy definitions, but you'll see it's much more simplified. The name and description are in the form over here. The description is not mandatory. The same as before, we're specifying our command group, previously known as categories, our device, or either or, and then you set your command of choice for running the CIC definition against same process as before, except the actual file itself is significantly simpler. Okay, um, so the same policy method as before, which are all outlined here in this updated policy method and CIC definition files help file. And just really just enter the string that you want to capture. So again, remember, I'll have told many of you when you're downloading a configuration, we want peace of mind we're getting the entire configuration. So we just need that string in here that says, if I see this string, I have a good config. Okay, so it's a fundamental change. Now, what happens with your old definitions? That's a key question. So many of you might have quite a few definitions. So you will notice the invalid file format tag here that says, look, this is the old JSON format. You need to change over to the new format, which is a .policy file, just a kind of a rConfig thing. That's what we decided to call it. Um, there's a note here and there's some docs, but I'm going to show you real quick. We can actually take a peek at this and it won't load because they're expecting a different type of file and not a JSON file. That's okay. It's completely broken. I'm going to show you how to change it. And it's really easy. Will you just pop into your command line? Will you just run PHP artisan without any extra commands, and we'll get to see the full command list. And there's two commands I want you to take note of. rConfig transform EOC definitions and rConfig transform policy definitions. So we're going to run this one real quick. And if I show you here, PHP artisan, and run it, and processed one file. So it migrated example default EOC definition.json to the same file name .policy. Simple as that. If you have 10, it will do 10. If you have 1, it will do 1. Okay. So let's run back. Let's refresh. And now our error is gone. We should be able to quick peek it. Brand new feature here, quick peek, and that's our updated file. That's all you need to do. The exact same process applies to policy definitions. I'll show you that right now. So let's close this. Let's go down to policy definitions. And you'll see a similar type of notifications. You'll see the policy definition files require format update, and it will show this error if any of the files are in the old format. I know some of you haven't used this yet. 7.2 is where we've really transformed policy and compliance, so you will start to use it. You may just start using the new policy definition format. I'll talk about this in 1 second. But for now, we just need to migrate the file format. So again, if I do a quick peek, we'll see an error. That's fine. Let's go back to our command line and let's run the transform policy definitions command. Okay, so copying this one and hit enter. And again, the exact same process. It will transform one or many of the legacy JSON policy definition files if you have them. Refresh the page. Error is gone. If I do a quick peek, all of your entire policy definitions have now migrated to the new format. It's really easy for us to do. It's just JSON to kind of text, right? But you're starting already to get a sense of the format that we've developed here, which is heavily documented in line. So if I go new policy definitions, and if I click here, and everything is formatted in here, okay? Including some new extras like Control S to save and close your work. Names and descriptions are now in the form where they used to be in the file before, and that was kind of confusing. You can autocomplete policy definitions. If I just do this, you can see autocompletion start to pop up there. There we go. But I'm going to do a whole separate video on this. So perfect. So we've just taken a quick look at the migration process. So we've done an upgrade from V7.1 to V7.2. We have reviewed the legacy V7 JSON format for EOC, now CIC definitions and policy, and we've done a migration of those policy definitions. So three steps: upgrade, do the two PHP artisan commands to migrate your policy definitions, and then get into the rest of it. So look for more videos and more docs on the rest of the totally awesome features in V7.2. Thanks a lot.